Hi everyone, Ray from Pro String again. Yep, another racket restringing tutorial, another racket for you guys to hopefully benefit from. So this is a very interesting racket, to say the least. I may have done it once before, so anti-torque system, fine, cool. Just reading up to see if there's anything that I'm missing or not familiar with, but I'm pretty sure this is straightforward. So it's a 16-18 stringing pattern, 16 mains, 18 crosses. It's a weight of 300 grams, which is a nice weight for an intermediate kind of player, even advanced. As you can see, no grommets, power holes, guys, so you need to be very careful where you're tying your knots and so on. I'm actually almost slightly confused myself where to start this on, but okay, fine. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do 4 knots. I'll be okay. Tie off. Yeah, cool. Works. Okay, we're gonna have 3 knots at the bottom, 2 for our mains, 1 for our cross, our last and final cross, and the starting knot is exactly what it says here. It says start knot. All right, so that would be the start knot for the crosses, by the way. String requested. Multi-filament string, which will be our Pro String pure multi-filament, our home brand. Been selected again, which is great to see that the home brand is the most popular multi-filament string that we offer, funny enough. So 6 holes in the bottom, 3 loops. I am expecting someone to come to the door any minute now to pick up their express racket. So I apologize when I do walk away. Just fast forward a minute or 2, I guess. It'll take me maybe less. And I said 16-18 stringing pattern, 16 mains, which means 8 to each side. We have 1 string on each side already in. Reminder, don't tighten your rackets tight at all on the mounting system. Depending on your machine, it may be, this is 6-point mounting system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your machine may vary. So here we go, 7 strings, because we already have the 1 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very important to start from the top and then make your first loop. When I say loop, that's what I mean by loop. And leave yourself enough string for your tension head to reach your tension head. Balance of both control and power, client is requesting. So 55 pounds of tension is probably a balance of both on this racket, despite it being incredibly powerful because of the power holes. Something that you don't see all that much these days. Clamp at the bottom. So 55, I'm going to add 4.5 pounds. In fact, I'm going to add 5 pounds just because I can. No. In all seriousness, it doesn't matter if I go a little bit tighter on this racket, even if it's just 0.5 pound, because the power holes add so much power. So I'm shrinking at 60 pounds of tension, guys. But the real tension it'll feel like 55, maybe not straight after restringing it, but once the grommets settle in, it should drop a couple kilos, 4.5, 5 pounds. All right, so there you have it. Make sure you hold your clamp up nicely so it's in line with the frame or your string. Don't let it drop. So in other words, don't pull the string in that position because you can damage the string. So hold your clamp up like I did. If you didn't notice that, go back a couple seconds and you should see that I was holding my clamp up, which I always do. I'm actually going to take my ear pod off just in case I go downstairs. Hopefully that hasn't disturbed the audio. So, as always, guys, as you've probably seen in my other videos, always 3 to each side. I didn't tell you the name of this racket. Apologies. It is a Prince Tipstick. T-I-P-S-T-I-C-K. Tip stick. Three strings to each side. Very important to compensate your tension. You don't want to be stringing 5, 6, 7, or 8 to one side, and then the other side you're really playing with fire. You risk the racket being deformed, or damaging your racket in some way. So be very careful with that, guys. Someone is at the door now to pick up the rackets, as I just mentioned, so apologies. I will be as quick as possible. I will not stop the video. I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Seems like the client has been trying to call me over and over. Oops. She said she was standing there for 7 minutes. My bad. So there you go. These videos are somewhat disruptive, but not the end of the world to the way I work. Kind of a one and a half man team. I have another colleague that helps me out weekly because I just can't keep up with demands. Someone that I taught myself, does a good job, but also has a full-time job in the city of London. So it's a bit tricky sometimes to get him to do more rackets. I normally manage quite well, but yeah. This evening, for example, I'm coaching, so I'll be out all evening from about 4 p.m. Won't get home until about 10 p.m. I do a lot of cycling around to different locations for clients. I kind of go to clients or go to a club that we agree on, or courts that we agree on. So there you have it, guys. 6 to each side, carry on, 7, and then of course 8. It doesn't really matter which sides you choose to go for, as long as you're compensating evenly. I've upped my tension on my last main string. Parnell knot, as always, my preferred knot by far. Pull that first knot and then your second. I've upped my tension again, guys, in case you haven't seen. So it clearly says where you need to tie all your knots on this racket. It says main, tie off, main, tie off. Make sure you tie the knots where they're telling you to. Most rackets don't tell you, but there are some that do tell you. The Pure Drive, for example. The older editions do have a little circle around the grommet, you need to do your tie off. There you have it. So 1, so you guys can maybe see better, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a quarter, if that, because I know it's 16, 18, so I need less string than normal. 1 less cross to this racket, lots of spin, lots of power. Sorry, wrong side. Like I was just saying, follow the instructions on the racket. This is where you want to start your starting knot, where it says or indicates start knot. Very simple, straightforward racket, but just follow the instructions, guys. Don't get caught out. Prince is a dying brand, or has died a few times in Europe now. I know it's still going strong in the States. So just FYI, in case this makes your life a little bit easier. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, skip 1. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, skip 1, 8, 1, same thing obviously on the other side, and the bottom is exactly the same, 7, skip 1, 8, in case that's useful. Sometimes I get people asking, oh, but which holes do I skip? When you're starting out, yeah, it can be a little bit confusing, I get it. I'm just pulling this string very slowly. I find that with this string it does stick quite a bit because of its outer coating. So the first 2 or 3 I'm super careful with, as I don't want to damage the string. It's got an outer coating, which is quite nice because then it doesn't fray like your Wilson NXT Power, X1 Biphase Technic Fiber. Those seem to just fray. It looks like after 2 hours of playing, it looks like it needs a haircut, literally. So that's why I really like this multi-filament string, not just because it's mine, but I'm not a big fan of all the fraying that some of the top brands do. Like also Babila XL, I find the fraying's not too bad on the XL, but it's very soft when you string with Babila XL. Oof, definitely interesting string, definitely. Right, so when we get to our crosses where there's no grommets, so in other words, your power holes. Also, FYI, for your information, I'm stringing 1 ahead. As you can see, I'm always weaving the next string instead of just weaving and pulling, weaving my second one in front or ahead to make that second weave always easier. So here we go. We're about to, in a moment, we'll be pulling our first cross string through the power hole, and you'll see how this racket is very different when it comes to doing your crosses, or at least not doing them, not weaving them, but when you're pulling the string in itself. So if I were just to pull this like that, I'll actually do it despite it not being great. So that's how it looks if you don't have a lock, a base lock for your machine. Luckily, I do have this function on my machine. I know that I need to leave it on a bit of an angle, so this way it does pull. I'm going to hold it a little bit with my chest / stomach because it does want to still move in itself. So unlock. Maybe this next one you can see a little bit better. So if you don't have a locking system on your machine, you will really struggle. Because if you normally don't have a locking system on a machine, it's normally a cheaper machine, and you might be using floating clamps, which therefore make your life quite miserable because you won't have space. As you saw before when I did pull it, see, look, it just wants to go. Let's say, look, I'm just going to force it. So if you have floating clamps, you're going to really struggle with that. So you're going to find yourself pulling the racket perhaps in this direction to, I'm going to let go of this by the way, to fit the clamp on. But anyway, I have this lock. So if you're unfamiliar with this type of racket, you do have a good machine that offers a lock. They're normally underneath your machine. Some machines are actually, they're fully electric and top end, so 10,000 pounds or dollars or whatever. Stringing machines. Some even have them on the LED screen. You just press it and it locks automatically or electronically. So as you can see, always moving my right hand in this case. The racket's on the other side facing downwards. It'll probably be my left hand that moves it. But when I used to travel on tour, I used to use a Pro stringing machine, which I could review one day, I guess. And we used the the Prince XO3s. Oh no, the Prince, is it Prince? I've got them here still. But just to show you guys, another racket with power holes. The old Prince Tours. Is it Prince Tour? But yeah, we used to, well, my brother still uses them. Actually, he's not meant to, but he's under contract with Head and he's painted on his rackets. So, oops. I spilled the beans there. If my brother finds this, sorry. He's painted all his rackets black, so nobody can tell what they are for contract purposes, but I think he hasn't requested any rackets from them this year, so I guess he's not using the rackets anymore. But anyway, I don't know if I've said the brand, but that might save me if he does find this video. Lock it. So I'm not using the lock anymore because now the further you progress onto the power hole crosses, it seems to straighten itself out because of the angle where we're pulling from. So here, for example, it's straighter before at the top. It tends to pull, as you can see. As you progress throughout the racket on the crosses, you should find it easier. And again, stringing one ahead. There you go, not using the lock. Okay, so that should be our last. Now this next weave is already back to normal grommets. Could have left myself a little bit more string. I'm going to have plenty anyway. I'm going to have some left over. So wastage wise perfect, but stringing one ahead may not work so well now. As you can see, I have to stop there as I won't have enough. But that's all good in the hood. Under, over, under. Now I'm just going to pull one because I really don't have enough string to reach all the way to carry on my one ahead system, which I always use, regardless if it's tennis, squash, badminton, doesn't matter. Right. I've upped the tension, guys. Oh, this rubber. I've got a piece of rubber on these, that's how the machine comes on the clamps. Despite having cut it a few times, it's just getting really stretchy and it's getting in the way of when I drop my clamp to release the base. It's catching a little bit. So here again, it tells me where I need to tie my cross knot. I'm actually going to do that again. I'm going to see if I can get a nice finish here, but unfortunately going under the string doesn't look too great. So just my own. So I'm going to up the tension again. I'm going to I need to pull the, I'm going to give myself a bit more space here. I will pull the string again. Just want to make sure the finishing is just right, the way I like it. Okay, now it's over. That should look better now. So up my tension. I've got a main string covering here, and I want to make sure it looks as good as possible. That looks much better. So if you can see, I don't know, but that now sits flush, as to before it was slightly crossing down and over. That should set even better once I tie my knot, which I'm tying it. It suggests to tie it on the last 8th main string to this side. Don't pull the string too hard on the knot, guys. Yeah, much better looking there, aesthetically speaking. Cut away my knots, and again. Right, I'm happy with that. That should come out quite tight. Nice. But the tension will drop pretty quick because the grommets are pretty much setting as we speak. The racket I strung previous to this one was also a new one, a Wilson Clash. And the by the time I got it to the client's hand, you could really feel the tension drop, which is normal for it to drop pretty quick. That's why we put the tension up. These rackets with power holes are notorious for losing tension, because obviously being an open racket on the sides and the top, it doesn't hold tension all that well. So let's see. Right, guys, there you have it. The Prince tip stick. I almost said lipstick. Tip stick. Or is it? No, it's not tip stick. Sorry, I thought that was a T. Rip. Wow. Rip stick. Hilarious. £210 I paid. Yeah, there you go. Prince Ripstick. £210 for this? Unacceptable. I really don't agree with paying that. Anyways, the marketing, the colors, there you go. I'm sure they bought it on discount because I don't think it's the newest of models. But anyway, fine. Perfect, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully there was some useful information there as always. And take care. Happy stringing, guys. Bye-bye.